Welcome along, everyone, back to the Ardennes Forest for round 11 of the World Championship here in magnificent Spa, the best road circuit in the world. Road circuit? Gosh, I've been watching too much IndyCar. The best circuit in the world, in my opinion. Certainly on the F1 2025, and this could be a scene of something of epic proportion tonight in terms of the drivers and the constructors championship, which I know not many people invest in the constructors, but I certainly love it. Then, of course, I think the constructors are just as important as the drivers, in my humble opinion. Now, of course, thank you very much. We're back onto 700 subscribers. Wow, fantastic! I love it. So well done to Cyrus Rush there for getting his multiple accounts back activated. Great stuff indeed. There, drivers and the constructors. Then let's quickly go through that. Then before we got whilst we got little action out on circuit, Mayran leads the championship by 17 points. But the man on the moment is the man in fifth position, which is Sweet, who is 39 points away. It is so close in the drivers' championship as silver. Sweet currently in fifth position. Then let's go through second, third, and fourth. Markey is 17 points away from his teammate at the moment. Now, of course, the top three haven't scored major points in the last several races or so, with Duke in third position, 1 point adrift of Markey, 18 points adrift of Mayran, who's been leading this championship for quite a number of races now. But of course, he hasn't been able to extend his lead. Kiki has maneuvered his way back up into fourth position. Then we got Sweet, as we mentioned there. Of course, the man in rich run of form at the moment there. Currently in fifth position there. Mr. Radio Bull in sixth on 71 points, 58 points for Camaro. Nigel, happy 99 start tonight for Nigel. Then he's in ninth position on 52 points, 41 points for Coop. Jinner on 38 points, 35 for Vestier, along with Gordo, 31 for RTB, Luke on 24, 19 for Kydal, 11 for Irvine, Riley on 6, 1 for Farf, and Jay Hinks currently no points so far. Constructors Championship, McLaren were, I got to say, quite formidable at the opening stage of the season. They have wavered a bit, is that a word? It is now. But they are still 75 points in front of the Williams team, who are now in second position. They are 2 points in front of the Red Bull team, who are in third position on 130 points. 20 points back on 110 is the Haas team now. Then we have got Alpine in fifth position, then 4 points away from the Haas team on 106. 89 points for the Aston Martin, 118 away from the McLaren team. Kick Sauber on 59 points, 30 points adrift of Aston Martin. 5 points adrift of the Kick Sauber is the Racing Bulls on 54. 24 points for the Mercedes team and 17 points for the Ferrari. And then we'll just take a look to see, I think it is the Williams of Ginner then to start us on our journey of this tonight's race here in Spa. Of course, I'm not going to be no bones about it. Spa is probably the best circuit in my opinion on the game. I love this circuit. It's absolutely a cracker. It really is indeed that. Because if you're going to go off, you're going to go off in the big way, as Luke's already mentioned in the driver paddock. Of course, as he's predicted that he might be in the wall at the top of Eau Rouge and into Radion there. Jenna then just powering up the hill now into Lake Com, which is what I'm expecting is going to be the action point of this evening's presentation. There. Of course, we haven't mentioned about Sweet, who's been on rich run of form now. Of course, the last two races he's been at first and second now for Sweet, then, whilst the championship rivals of Mayran. Of course, Mayran has not scored a point since his win in Spain back in round 7 there. Markey has not scored since the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix back in round 6 up until last week, where he did get his first podium since the Miami Grand Prix. Remember, McLaren was so dominant in the opening stage of this championship then. And of course also Duke, the first time last week, then he's back on the points board as well after not scoring it since Miami of round 5. So that's what has happened to the top three. The top three have not scored some big points, have not won a race in quite a long period of time here. Mayran, of course, as I mentioned, hasn't won since the Spanish Grand Prix back in round 8 then. Ginner's coming to the bus stop now, which is not a bus stop anymore, and in my opinion they have butchered this bus stop chicane. Bring back the original one, I say. Even the one that was used in 2005. Across the line, Jenner goes fastest of the runners so far, albeit he's the only driver to set a time on the board there. Of course, already we're in the deep into the minutes here, and of course we're 142, one for Jenner. And Jenner, I am expecting, is going to be one of the quicker drivers in this qualifying session as well. Sweet has got pole position in the last two races, and Sloth goes into second in the Red Bull there. Sweet has been on pole position in the last two races in Austria and Great Britain there. So can Sweet get a hat-trick of pole positions here tonight, of course, as he is the newest member of the Silver Grid then, to become a full-time racer. Well, I think so. Anyway, goodness me, Sweet was promoted by quite a number of races ago now. Duke, currently fast moment, did a great job in this gold last night, didn't he? Did Duke? Then really good stuff indeed there, and really set him on song then for what he hopes to be a good race tonight there, and hoping to get himself second in the World Championship. Then, well, obviously he wants to lead the World Championship, but I think more realistically, I am expecting the McLaren teams to hopefully be back on form, then maybe Duke might be able to outscore Marky and get himself back into second. Kydal is fourth in the race of ball, one of the most improved drivers, I would say, on the grid this season. But however, the points output for Kydal is probably not as high as I was anticipating or expecting. Key, it was taking a shortcut there. Pot Stuff goes into full fast in the Kick Sauber. Happy 90th Grand Prix start tonight as well to Irvine. I was about to say Eddie Irvine. I don't think, did Irvine? I think he did make overnight starts, didn't he? Eddie Irvine did, but we're talking about Irvine in the Ferrari. Well, our Irvine in the Ferrari, currently 90, but well there. Nigel then, as we mentioned, 99th Grand Prix start for Nigel. Of course, I think that this was this the scene of his last Grand Prix win in gold then? For some reason, I think it was in that season 3. But Nigel, 99th Grand Prix start tonight, of course, didn't have a very good, happy return in gold last night. And unfortunately, that, of course, as Riley does go 5th fastest. Sweet up into 3rd at the moment in the Haas car, of course, as Mayran then, of course, hasn't had pole position since the Spanish Grand Prix 3 rounds ago then for the championship leader. Currently pole position there by 0.2 of a second, the McLaren Mercedes. Whoa, the silver... The silver guy says, by the way, silver is the most reflective material in the world, and apparently, anyway. And that's what I heard everyone say. And I was going to make a lovely little segue into maybe seeing, talking of reflective, and reflections maybe going back into silver for next season. However, it's far too early to probably do predictions like that, isn't it? Jay Hings currently 16th in the field at the moment. Hasn't set a competitive time just yet, though, as he's doing a 28.3 out of Stavelo or Paul Frere. I really should probably look up that, which corner is which, but never mind. I'll get there in the end. Good luck, fellas, from Coop. Coop not racing tonight, then. This is the first time that Coop is not racing this season, as he has participated in all starts so far. So that's but Coop there not racing tonight. Then. Medium hard, says Gordo, unless it rains, and slack in Mayran, get your finger out then. Of course, Mayran then has only, well, I say he has our pole position in the Spanish Grand Prix, but however, he's only raced once in the Spanish Grand Prix, was in Austria. Gordo coming across the line again is serious mushrooms already from the strategy out for Gordo tonight then, as it's going to be a medium to hard strategy. Talking of which, I was talking to one of the drivers last night. This is a very interesting piece, isn't it? As someone was one of the drivers last night. I'm not going to name names just yet. Well, I'm not going to name names at all yet, actually, because especially if this is a good idea. But a lot of the dirty air this year and the DRS, and it's not been very. The dirty air has been quite powerful, and the DRS and slipstreaming has not been as powerful. And one of the drivers was mentioning that this has made a bit of the race and a bit of the action of as a driver, certainly potentially. He didn't even mention potentially as a spectator or a fan of the sport as well. that it's not as entertaining, and potentially the stewards may want to look at look at making a mandatory two-stop like in Monaco this year, for of course real life Monaco Grand Prix potentially, two-stopper, or maybe even banning the hard tires and just having the soft and medium available then for each race weekend. Interesting development that is, but of course it'd be interesting to see what the stewards make of that then, or of course the stewards, the governing body of ALR Grand Prix racing. Be very interesting indeed then. Albeit I'm not sure if that driver has mentioned it to any of the stewards yet. He did mention it to me though, but am I classed as a steward? Probably not, to be fair, but there you go. Admin's a fair force now as well, as to be honest. After that conversation, I went directly to bed. Across the line there comes KD, currently goes 10th fastest here in this Alpine machine then. As it got R2 beat then tackling at the middle sector. The middle sector then very much tight and twisty. The first and third sector is all about power and speed. So you want to dump the drag at this part of the circuit here then. So it's R2B then, who is going to unfortunately be cursing that rear wing. Having said that, he probably wants a bit of rear wing going through Blanchimont there. Albeit these days the ground effect of cars, ground effect machines, and you probably could go for that with very T-tray like rear wing potentially. I still think the car's up too much downforce there. Sadly, R2B, both Aston Martins are a little behind the 8-ball when it comes to pace. Well, there's Luke coming out of Puyol now, which I still have issues saying for some unknown reason there. Or put the safety car on normal. They don't come out on reduce, says Serious Mushroom. I like a mandatory two-stop, says Gordon. Then, of course, it's not been really spoke about much, to be honest. There, I must say, I kind of agree that the race in this season potentially, has it been better or has it been worse? Yellow flag then coming out of Paul Frere. Has it been better or has it been worse? It'd be interesting to hear what your thoughts are. I must admit, I can't remember last season, to be fair, which ain't good, is it? Oh, is Luke there again? A lot of opposite lock there out of the bus stop. That's not ideal. Goes 12 fastest there for Luke. A whisker behind the former world champion of Nigel, both in gold and silver. Nigel has said. Nigel has got almost the whole shebang of world championships in Grand Prix racing that there is to offer, which is good stuff indeed. Here's another man who with a couple of not championship, but a couple of wins under his belt. I think he's got 3 in gold and 3 in silver as he flies past me as well. But far with only one Grand Prix win so far. We've only got 1 point so far, and then Jay Hings having an equally bad season as far. But two drivers who've finished in the upper echelons of the championship over the past couple of seasons in silver, as Kiki has gone fastest there by 200ths of a second from the championship leader. That's a statement of intent there for Kiki. Oh, Jay Hings there on the gravel there. There's a lot more gravel on this part of the circuit compared to a few seasons ago. So that may have caught Jay Hings out. I doubt that has, because Jay Hings is a man who prepares for every Grand Prix. Jenner's gone back up into 4 fastest. We're just watching Farf with 5.5 minutes to go. Yeah, going back to the racing then. I'm not sure, to be honest, if the race has been duller or not. I do quite like the fact that it's much more difficult to overtake. However, from the driver's point of view, it's maybe not as fun as what I'm hearing then, albeit then I have heard a lot more positives and negatives, as Nigel's gone 6 fastest, but it's interesting to hear what the drivers make of it. I must say, from my point of view, I really suffer on this game then with the dirty air, because I just can't keep up, and then as far from, unfortunately, outside of track limits there, and he's invalidated at Blanchimont there, just got a bit lazy on the steering wheel, did far from, unfortunately, and because of that, he's invalidated his time with 5 minutes to go in this qualifying session there, so that's just going to compound the pain of Favre at the moment. On board with Mayran, who currently is second on the grid at the moment for today's Grand Prix. Where am I? Losing 1.8 seconds in the middle sector. Not great, says Gordo. Says Gordo. Of course, yes, Serious Russian mentioned about the safety car not coming out as often as well. And of course, goodness me, Mayran's battery there is, goodness me, it's a bit like strobe lighting there. And Mayran's actually abandoned that time and come into the garage. Mr. Raging Bull has got himself up into a very competitive 8th position in the Alpine machine now. That's good stuff indeed. Oh, it's the Dirty Air's fault now, is it? Serious Mushroom is saying then. Well, it can't be my fault, because let's be honest about it. I am probably the most talented driver. Oh, goodness me. I'm the most talented driver in the ALR field. Oh, dear. I can't even say it without grinning. Tori's currently 15th at the moment there, and I've also taken the escape road. There was not an escape road, is it? It's the of course, the lower formulas pit paddock then. Of course, as into the pits comes Jay Hings down in 16th position, but far from Irvine currently have not scored. Have currently not got a point so far. Well, I blame the Dirty Air anyway. To be honest, I'm not. I might be just because I'm not very good at the game, but it can't be that. I'm sure it can't be that. Sloth invalidated his time there, so unfortunately for Sloth, he's going to come back in the pits as well. This is a long lap then, so you do not want to be caught short in this one. Sloth's got a very dirty Red Bull there. You might have to get the old polish out, a bit of spitting polish on that Red Bull to give it a good old clean now. Who else is out on circuit? KD is going to start his lap now out of La Source. There goes KD then as we power out of La Source down the hill before we then go up the hill quite rapidly as the drivers are sat on the floor and they're pointing their faces into the sky, which is a very unusual feeling to have there, as Martin Brundle, I remember talking about it. KD there is using a bit of slipstream now. Of course, we've seen Fernando Alonso do that over the years there, and I remember that Alonso did quite extremely one year in Bahrain. Was it 2013 or 2012? No, it can't have been. I think it was later than that because it was a night race at Bahrain, wasn't it? Goodness me. Gordon Putter's deployment on medium battery here is rubbish. Why didn't you tell me that in 100% Mushroom? Shocking. No helping teammates out in the event league. Shocking stuff indeed. It's also a momentous occasion today, as after about 6 years, I've finally fixed my office chair, which is fantastic. Albeit I've broken the wheels off it, so now it doesn't wheel anywhere, but that was more by design than on purpose, he tells himself. KD then coming out to Paul Frere, or Blanchimont. No, Blanchimont's coming up now then, but he's out of deployment is KD. So he's going to really struggle in this final stage of this lap then. For KD coming into the bus stop chicane now, Mr. Raging Bull with 90 seconds to go is called it a day. Out of the bus stop now comes KD. There's a Ferrari coming across the line. I think that is, well, it's either Irvine or Riley, and KD does go 10th and a half quicker and stays 11th faster. So, why did you tell me, and Alec, to be fair, I was actually concentrating so hard I gave myself a headache. And also I was very tired as well. Riley coming over the brow of the hill then, currently 10th from it. Riley, like Kaidal, two drivers for me that have just not had the output that they deserve in terms of the numbers, because I do feel that both drivers deserve many more points than what they've got on the board then. However, there's a difference between deserving and achieving now, isn't it? And that sounds a bit harsh, doesn't it? But then again, it's because I've been eating apples today, which makes me very angry and sad. On board with me, Ran, then coming out of Lake Com. Just taking a look to see who else is the furthest driver around then. I'm going to spy on a dark blue dot, and I can't see who it is. It's Kaidal. 1100 a second up then for Kaidal then as we go into the bus stop chicane. How dare you say I don't listen? I've got my ears are as big as Dumbo. I listen quite intently to Bon Jovi. Kaidal, who is hasn't really improved there, has he, unfortunately? So sadly for Kaidal, will stay 12th, and that'll be the maximum. Here we go. Here comes Irvine, 2/10 a second up after the second sector then. Going through Blanchimont as well. He's still got a bit of battery left. You can see that the bit deployment there going into the bus stop chicane. Checker flag is fluttering in the beautiful Belgian breeze. Out of the final turn there for Riley. And can he get himself higher in the top 10? No, he can't then. He stays 10th position there. That's the Ferrari driver. What about that McLaren? McLaren. What about Mayran? And Mayran then 2 tenths of a second up. This could be pole position there for the McLaren driving the championship leader. And it is pole position there by 3 tenths of a second there on a circuit as long as this then. It may not be too surprising, but that's pretty impressive stuff indeed. Who am I looking for? Gordo's in the pit, as we've got a lot of drivers there just coming out of the final turn, and Luke's coming out of the final turn as well. Luke's a 2 tenths of a second up there, using that Red Bull to his advantage as well. Luke goes 12 fastest there, and where did that Red Bull finish? Sloth goes 14th there. Second McLaren of Markey, it goes up into 4th position. Is that a salvage operation for Markey, or is he disappointed with 4th position there? He's down to 5th, because Sweet is now from the 4th position. Duke is coming out of the final turn, and we just said Podster back up to 5th as well. So Markey, as Duke goes 2nd fastest, Markey is down into 6th and 2nd in the World Championship there. As Kiki's invalidated this time. Kiki was on professional pole position there a few moments ago, but not anymore. Nigel finishes is running 8th position. Irvine's invalidated on his 50th Grand Prix, 90th Grand Prix start today. Mayran taking pole position number 5 of his season there for the McLaren driver then. So pole position number 5 for the McLaren Mercedes team then, and that stops the hat trick for Sweet, who's only P4 on the grid. Only P4. I wish I was P4 on the grid. And of course, that's McLaren's 7th pole position of the season. They have had a monopoly on pole positions as McLaren, but I must say recently they have struggled, haven't they? As both McLaren drivers have dropped off the form guide in the last couple of races. Mayran's 9th pole position of his career in a Grand Prix race as well. So hats off indeed there to the McLaren driver. I've got real bad gut sake, which is not good, is it? Oh dear, I think I've had too much chicken there. Right, where am I? I think I'm in the forest. Lewis in his TARDIS tonight, says Sarah's Mushroom. Messed up my lap, would have found 4 tenths, says Jinner. And where would that put Jinner? That would have put Jinner right into the heart of the top 4 there. So Jinner's going to be kicking himself on that one. Is the birthday man from yesterday. Word to treat that did, to be fair, Mushroom. Unfortunately, accidentally put my brake bias at 70%, so that ruined it. Haha. Ramam Jinner would have been P4, says Jinner then. As Farf has bottled his lap, he says. Great toe there, as Pot Stuff says to Farf. I think the Farf could have used a toe as well, but bottled his lap and went a bit wide and Blanche one, so Farf is going to have to fight through the field, as is Farf, and who's at the moment. Jay Hings and Farr for the lowest points output they've had this season. I don't know why I'm saying output for tonight. Goodness me, I bet a thesaurus. Sweet for my sweet sugar, for my honey. Is that a song? Is it potentially? To be honest, the only song I know is I was thinking Sweet Like Chocolate then. Was that by Big Littlefoot or something like that back in the late 90s? Goodness gracious me. To be honest, songs like that makes me shudder a bit. Not because it's not a great song, it absolutely is, but it makes me realise, because I remember I listened to it on repeat for quite a long period of time, using my tape player. I'm not even sure if many of you guys know what a tape player is, which makes me very sad indeed. Of course, where you have to switch tape players around. And of course, you couldn't just skip songs, which was the next evolution in music player life, where you had a big old CD player, which you couldn't fit in your pocket, to be honest. There we go then. Oh, that's a foot. I was wondering what Mushroom put there. To be honest, what I need to do is I need to get a tablet, don't I, for these comments there, because I think since I'm now in my mid-30s, I do think that I need to get a bigger device to read these messages there. But Jinner can attest to that as well, as of course Jinner is my age, which makes me feel a little better, because Jinner has the speed, and maybe there's hope for me yet up in the comments box. However, I think the admins rather be up here rather than on circuit, because I think the reason why Knowlesy races in 100% on the event league is to make sure that I'm kept in line. And I think last year, that's why Speedfield Mighty was racing with me last year in bronze, was to make sure that I was kept in line as there. So there you go then. The admins have to race with me, otherwise that's all manky. So medium and hard tyres, and similar to last night, not a soft tyre in sight then, which does make me a bit sad, because I do like variety as a spice of a life. I had a gramophone, says Serious Mushroom. Is that that like record player thing with the needle and then it's got like a big old horn on top? Is that a gramophone then? Open silver, may won't tangle up like gold did. I must say, Equals, I quite enjoyed gold last night, which which obviously makes me a bit of a sadist there potentially. And so I'm hoping they do say Serious Mushroom. I'm glad that Serious Mushroom and I are all about the entertainment value rather than the race etiquette. Right, let's go for the grid from front to back. And we're on the formation. I have a very quick formation up here from Mayran. Of course, Mayran there is does not want to stand on ceremony. Mr. Wayne, he wants to get a Grand Prix win, which he hasn't had since the Spanish Grand Prix, and his championship lead has now been whittled back down to 17 points. Nigel and Mr. Rage have come to blows on the formation lap. That's not ideal because now they're going to have cold tires. They're going to lose a couple of meters on the grid as well. Mayran, pole position number 9 of his career. Duke alongside him on row 1 there. So the Duke would like to challenge for the Grand Prix win here. Key made a mistake on his final lap. Potentially could have been up there. Sweet in 4th position there. Of course, the man in the moment there for second out of first. Last time out in the last 2 races there. Pot stuff in 5th position in that kick Sauber. 6th position is Markey. A bit off the pace there. I said he may be disappointed with that performance there, but now he's down to 6 as well. But let's see what Markey can do in the race there. Jinner then, of course, made a mistake. Down in 7th position there. Mayran's had a hash of rolling up on the grid there. And then we've got Nigel and Mr. Richard Bull, 8th and 9th. Riley in 10th position. KD is strong 11th. 12th is Luke with Kydal in 13th. Sloth in 14th. R2B and Tory. Terrible qualifying for the Aston Martin team. And then we got Jay Hinks there. Gordo, Farf and Irvine. And I think I've just about sorted it out. They're all lined up on the grid now, waiting for those 5 lights to come on. And then when they go out, we'll be racing in Spa for round number 11 of the World Championship. I cannot wait. 2, 3, 4, 5, and pause. And it is go as a first short squirt, then down into turn 1. As Mayran's got the inside into La Source as we come in. There's 4 breast, and that Racing Bull is clattered into the Alpine, and there's a mess on the outside there, and now it's all caused by one of the Racing Bulls, and it's a horror show into turn 1. And my goodness me, Irvine and Nigel, Nigel's all the way down to the back of the field there. I don't know which Racing Bull that was there, and now the Duke that has taken the lead there. Remember, he was talking about this last night, and then Duke is leading the race going into turn 1 there as the kick sour pot stuff, and look at how it's going side by side. Markey and Sweet there, potential championship rivals. And up into 5th goes Markey, down into 6th goes Sweet. He's down 2 positions there. Farf has moved up into 10th position in that kick sour. Probably was probably happy with that first corner melee. Tory on the inside there, up 5 positions as well for Tory. Goodness me, and the 2 Aston Martins there. I was saying how bad their qualifying was. They put me in their place with a great start to the Grand Prix. Riley in 12th position. I don't know which Racing Bull it was there. And off the circuit goes Nigel. I'm thinking that Nigel's going to be a bit apoplectic with what happened in turn 1, because that was that looked pretty messy, to be honest. I'm not so someone did a Bruno Senna impression there, if anyone remembers the 2011 start at Belgium. I know you all remember 2012 as Roman Grosjean decided to forgot about peripheral vision and went into the side of Hamilton, forced him onto the grass, and it was all a bit of a ricochet there. Far for a turbo start, and that's admin hacks there for Favre. Out of the final turn to complete lap 1, Duke lead said, but of course he's still in DRS there from Mayran in second, Kiki in third position. I'm trying to work out which Racing Bull went flying into the side there. I'm wondering if it might be Kydal, who's at 5 positions there. Don't like to point my finger. That's absolute lie. I do like to point my finger. But I usually get it wrong most of the time. Then it'd be interesting to see, though. It'd be interesting to see that start again, wouldn't it? And maybe we'll see which the Racing Bulls they just flew into the side. Nigel in the pits there, and that's such a shame for Nigel. And there's Markey, who's up 2 positions there, and Sweet is struggling because Jinner is through as well. I have just absolutely spluttered over my phone. Jinner is up into 6th position, and Sweet is struggling, and also Markey is not. He's loving life here. He's up into 4th position. Is the man who's second the World Championship. Fantastic stuff indeed. But Sweet there struggling. But look at that, the gap is a second and a half. No DRS, so Jenner's going to have to really get his skates on in this middle part of the lap then. Otherwise, potentially, there's a lot of gaps there throughout the field then. Of course, we were speaking about the dirty air in the qualifying session, weren't we? And potentially that's what's being a boss paramount now. Farf is going to get the starter of the race tonight, isn't he? He's up 10 positions. Tori's got past Jay Hings. He has got past Jay Hings. Jay Hings down into 13th position there, but a strong start for Jay Hings. He needs to get to the top 10 now to score points, and that has been one of his goals, and I'm sure for the remainder of the season. Gap in the front then is coming down then, so it's dropped by a tenth of a second there as you go into the bus stop chicane as well. Only pit stopper so far is Nigel. Nigel was on the hard tire, so he's now on medium. So Nigel will be touring around at the back of the field there, hoping for a safety car. Duke sets the fastest over the race as we've now got Jay Hings and Tori round 2. And out of the bus stop there, Tori still keeps 12th position now. Luke has got past Sloth and moved himself up into 60th position there. As now going into turn 1 to last horse. Not usually an overtake maneuver, but it is today then. And now up the inside goes Mr. Raging Bull. There's a lot of sparks coming off of that Alpine. Was there damage under the undertray of the car? I cannot see it, but if there is, it's going to be very draggy coming up to Eau Rouge and through Radion and up the Kevel Straight. He's all over the gearbox of the Alpine, and now there's, look at them, they're flying all over each other. Kyle Sweet has lost another position. Sweet, I wonder if he's got too much drag here. And look at this, it's the Alpine trying to get his defensive claws out. I've gone off, and now Mr. Reagan Bull has also gone off as well. Cuts across the Lacom and through. Jay Hings is back up in the 12th position. The second Alpine's also lost out, and now goes through. It's I'm looking for the Alpine. It's Tori back up into 14th position there. My goodness gracious me. And all this fighting though, 2.5 seconds back. 2.5 seconds back now. They're well out of DRS there. But however, crucially, they're also out of dirty air as well, which is going to be certainly on my mind now for the rest of the event. Then after an interesting conversation there late last night, and Sloth is now in 17th position, is the Red Bull driver, and Gordo is in 18th position, and then we've got the Ferrari of Irvine 19th, Nigel in 20th position, sadly. Well, a very action-packed start there, but Sweet is dropping like a stone at the moment, isn't he? Goodness gracious me. I'm wondering if Sweet potentially got a bit more higher downforce on that Haas car, on the... What car is he in? He is in the Haas, in that Haas car, potentially, then, so that's going to help him in the middle sector, but maybe that would have helped him on qualifying trim, but at the moment in the race trim, it's not helping him at all. Kaidal is within DRS range of Jenner, then Kaidal, of course, has had a very good season, but unfortunately, the lack of points on the board at this stage will be very disappointing for Kaidal, as KD and Tori have swapped position as well. Duke leads, second position this main round, with Kiki in third position. Markey is now on the march, and he's in fourth position. Then we got Potstuff in fifth, Jinner in sixth position there, Kaidal and Sweet seventh and eighth there. Farf is now going to be under the cosh here, because here comes R2B, and he powers through and up into ninth position now. R2B making his way through the field like a hot knife through butter, up into 10th there. We've also got Luke powering past Tori, making his way up into 5th position. Tori's lost another position there. Unfortunately, Tori similar to Sweet at the moment there as well. Luke getting his skates on there. Of course, we heard about his setup in the build-up to this session tonight, and through goes Tori back up the inside. Luke is trying to sneak up the inside into the corner with no name, but Tori's having none of it there. There's a bit of there's a bit of stripper gravel on the outside of that corner, so you've got to be very aware. There's a lot of gravel on the outside of Spa these days, which I absolutely love to see. Far from losing out then, going up, oh, there's contact between the two cars, but through goes Riley and up into 10th position. Farf is down into 11th. Farf's incredible start there is unfortunately now starting to unravel ever so slightly there. I think it's just a lack of pace from the former Grand Prix winner Farf is this season. Or am I being harsh? I'm always harsh to Farf. It's now Mr. Raging Bull, who is trying to catch up to Jay Hings. Though Jay Hings has had some pace, hasn't he? He's now starting to home in on Farf, who's in 11th position there, and 12th there for Jay Hings. So not too bad at all. So well behaved, the boring Jinner train. No, I got to say, it has been well behaved, but there's a lot of action as well, wasn't there, on the opening stage of this Grand Prix? There's a car in the background there that's well off the racing line there. I think that they're okay. I'm not sure if they're touring or not, there, or just trying to get out of the dirt. Yeah, maybe they're overheating already, as we got to all kinds of anarchy out of last source there in the background. Gap in the front is 5/10 of a second there. I'm going to be keeping an eye on Pot Stuff here, because Pot Stuff is through then. We've also got some more overtaken as well, as Riley is powered past R2B. What about Kydal? Kydal just ran out of straight at the top of the hill of Lake Calm. Mr. Raging Ball is up into 12th position with Jay Hinks down into 13th. And I must say, I was expecting a lot. Whoa, my goodness me. And Gordo there skated off the track and then onto the grass in the runoff area of Lake Calm. And Gordo, goodness me, and skated all over the show there. Oh my word there, and I must admit that was very good reaction there from Gordo, because that could have been an absolute airplane crash there, couldn't it? Just watching Sweet then, who's now kind of stopped the rot as such then, the man who won last time out in the British Grand Prix. Now in as Torres it's the first victim of the 3-second penalties here tonight. I don't think penalties is going to be I don't think the penalties is going to be a major factor in this one tonight there. But of course we'll keep an eye on the penalties as we go to. Ginner's lost a second and a half then in one lap. Says serious much there. So is that tyres? No, it can't, because Ginner's on the hard tyres. I'm wondering if that is just the how slippery that Williams car is going to be up the hill there. It's to be honest, it's about a balance there, isn't it? Locking the outside tyre there for Sweet then. That's not going down with Sweet's hard tyres. He wants to go quite deep into this Grand Prix and into a sensible window to get onto the medium compound tyres at the end of the race. So we are expecting one stop in this race there as we go into last source once again. So I wonder if Jidder then has sacrificed downforce in the second sector to keep track position there. We've seen this before from Jidder, haven't we? As they're going through Eau Rouge and Radio once again there with Kydal, and now Sweet has started to, as mentioned on the last lap, Sweet's now starting to get himself back into this one now, and he's all over the gearbox. I reckon that we was talking about Sweet's setup, but it might be those tyres, and those hard tyres are finally fired up then. And now through Sweet goes and into 7th position there. Kydal dropping down into 8th position at the moment, but Kydal will be more concerned about getting points again to the end of this Grand Prix, I'm sure. Irvine up into 17th position and blast past Tori, who is unfortunately dropping down the order. So Tori is normally in the higher echelons of the points, and isn't he? However, it's been a very much a inconsistent season for the Aston Martin driver this season. A bit up and down, really, like a yo-yo. I don't think anyone even knows what a yo-yo is abroad, do they? Apart from me and Serious Mush, but that's because we're old. Farf in the 11th position there, and so Farf, we saw that Farf maybe lose dropping off the back of RTP, but however, that has not been the case. But what has happened is that you notice in the background, I'm not sure if R2P and Farf have held each other up, because look in the background, Mr. Raging Bull, Jay Hinks and KD have all reeled in at the battle for 10th position. Now this is going to get very interesting indeed, because points means prizes. Now we might get a bit of a fraught battle here as we come through Blanchimont, of course the scene of one of the most horrific shunts you'll see in terms of the highest G level, which I think was Luciano Berti in his Jaguar in 2001 there. Oh goodness me, sorry, not Jaguar. Was there contact? There was contact there, and Farf is in the pits. So Farf has come into the pits, going for an extreme undercut potentially. We've also got another driver in the pits in the background as well. I'm not sure if Jay Hinks was caught up in that, but he's lost 2 positions there. 2 drivers in the pits, Farf in the pits, Luke in the pits as well, both on 6-lap old hard medium tyres. Potentially going to the hard set. Undercut quite powerful around here as well. So Riley is now going to catch up to Kydal. Kydal looks like he's struggling for Urs deployment. Riley up in 2nd position. A strong performance there from Riley tonight. Cuts across there, going up to Lake Calm, I should say. Jay Hinks there trying to keep up with the Alpines about that. Jay Hinks is there. Still a decent performance there for Jay Hinks. Far from the hard tyres. Luke on the hard tyres as well. Nigel sadly having issues on the opening lap then, and really he's just going to have to just going to have to hope for a safety car, really, or something untoward going on later on in this Grand Prix. Just taking a look down the order there, I think that Jay Hinks and KD is the closest battle on track among them, apart from Gordo and Tori, actually, as Gordo has now got those hard tyres. Looks like they're fired up, and I wonder if the hard tyres is now starting to become the preferred race tyre. Yo-Yo's an ancient Aussie weapon, said Seriously. Well, that was a boomerang. Well, I've forgotten my squash. I don't know where my squash has gone. That's not good, is it? Goodness me, I'm going to be like I'm going to be a parched going to be like a parched chip at the end of this one. I don't know what they say is drives chip, but then again, maybe my chips are just always greasy then, but that's because I'm a greasy man. Pot Stuff, who's now challenging Marky. Marky is dropped off the back to almost 3 seconds. There's a lot of cloud cover over here. I haven't heard of any rain on the horizon there, but of course this is Spa. We've had so many rain affected races over the years here. Sorry, I got to itch myself. My face, I mean, not anywhere else, I can assure you. But we've had a lot of rain affected races over the year in Spa. Of course, the 98 Belgium Grand Prix, that very memorable and infamous collision right here at this part of the circuit here when David Coulthard, ironically, it always seems to be Coulthard that comes to the forefront of memories of F1. But David Coulthard, of course, kicked off a chain reaction there where I think he spun up his rear tyres on a rain gully, I think it was. Here's Mr. Ray, we'll talk about that in a minute. Mr. Raging Bull in a different formula up into 10th position. And now KD is past the Aston Martin up to 11th there. And Aston Martin be very horrified by that. And of course, Alpine powered by Renault, which is supposedly the worst power unit on the grid. This is the last 2 more seasons of the Renault powered Alpine before the Alpine then goes to Mercedes power engines, which is very odd. Of course, so they're no longer a works team and a Renault car manufacturer going to be powered by a Mercedes engine. Goodness me, you never thought you'd see it today. Not sure about the two-stopper, says Serious Mushroom. I'm wondering then if Far From Luke might just try and extend the stint and go for a one-stop then for intensity. Is that doable though? On those hard tyres, they could go a very long way, haven't they? His tyre is going to be a factor then later on in this race, probably. Of course, they are the most important part in terms of, because they are the 4 points of the car which touch the ground then, so they have to be important, don't they? What I think's important though is those clouds up there. As Marky's in the pits, and so is Pot Stuff as well. I'm wondering if Pot Stuff wanted to come in the pits there, because he was kind of on the outside there. But yeah, they have come in the pits, and well, we are 9 laps into this race actually, aren't we? Goodness me. As Sweet there is just now tracking Gin and both drivers on the hard tyres, along with Riley as well in 5th position. So far, early driver contender of the day has to go to Riley. Great job indeed there. Mr. Raging Bull in the 2 Alpines, 7th and 8th, with R2 beating 9th. Jay Hings all over the gearbox of the Aston Martin in 10th position. Where's Kiki? He's come out in front, or has he? No, because his teammate's going to blast past. They have indeed. That kick Sauber looked very close to being off of the... As Marky's lost out. So Marky has had a terrible stop in the pit stop window there, and Marky's behind them, Slop. Something's gone wrong. Jay Hings has passed R2B. Kiki has got past Slop, and of course Slop is not Kiki's usual teammate. That is Coop as in Soup, who is not here tonight then, but even so, Slop complies with his teammate there, and through he goes. Irvine up in the 13th position there. But that is the story of the pit stop so far. Marky was in front of Potts, but now he's dropped down into 50th position there. Now it looked like an extra long stop for the McLaren team. We did not see what happened, but now Marky has lost out, and that could be crucial in the outcome of the World Championship there. Favre started hard, and Luke, I think, there says Serious Mushroom. Did they? I thought they started on mediums. Goodness gracious, be sure. Do you even pay attention? I do not, to be fair. I haven't even got an excuse either, because apparently apples is meant to be good for you. Of course, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, is what they say. Here comes Kiki on his fresh fresh hard tyres, I should say. As into the pits comes the race leader Duke, and Mayran follows them in. The Duke is actually extending his lead by 1.25 seconds. On the outside goes Kiki. That's a rubbish camera angle. Never mind. Is that rain? It's raining! Oh my goodness me, it's raining here in Spa, and I'm not sure if some drivers are expecting this rain or not, because they've all, a lot of them have already come into the pits, and so Duke is coming out the pits now. Mayran's also coming out the pits, but we've got rain afoot in Spa, and of course, you shouldn't be surprised. We do have a microclimate in Spa, and already we can also see sunshine out there as well. As there's an Alpine there, and that's KD, who is going to be looking very interesting. KD could be a major thorn here for Duke. Duke does not want to let KD go here. As you can see there, KD has got up DRS here, and this is going to be a nightmare for the Grand Prix leaders. KD, go and have a look. No, he stays back there, and now all of a sudden that is going to, and Mayran would have probably been hoping that KD gets past there, but now all of a sudden he's going to have to get past in the twisty part of the circuit. It'll be interesting to know I'm not sure. I am guessing, says Serious Merchant there, in terms of where far Finn Luke started on the hard tires. I thought they started on the medium personally, but maybe not them. But however, there's been a curveball thrown in this race now, and that is those raindrops coming from the sky. Where else would they come, Sean? But they are coming down from the sky, and now this is going to make the track greasy. Whether or not it's going to be enough to where we're going to see the wet weather tires remains to be seen. But at the moment, now look at this. This is a crucial part of the race. As you can see in the front there, we got the Williams of the Duke, and then next, and then after that, KD, who has extended his stint there, stayed out on those hard tires. No blue flags for the blue Alpine there. The blue Alpine can stay in front of Mayran because they are racing for position, albeit if they're on a different strategy. At this part of the race, it doesn't seem to be. Oh, there are raindrops still coming down there. It's a very long circuit there. It could be wet at one part of the circuit, then the other part of the circuit could be bone dry. Marquis going to try and get past Irvine at Blanche. I thought it was a Blanchemont, but it was contact between the McLaren and the Ferrari. Marquis, it'd be interesting to know what happened, but Marquis got past Potstaff. Irvine almost off the road there, and Marquis is blasted past somebody in 12th position. Potstaff is somehow behind Marquis. What's happened there? Well, we did not see it on the TV view in there, unfortunately, as they fly past me. So Mayran is now still behind them, but however, he will have DRS, and the McLaren driver should breeze past here. KD up to the grass goes Mayran, but he's going to have to go through nonetheless. He had the downforce. Just a bit of grass doesn't do you any harm. And up to a fifth position. There you go then. Now we've got Kiki getting past Jay Hinks. Markey is through, and that kick Sauber down up the inside of Potstuff, getting past Irvine and through and them to Limpish. There goes Potstuff. Next target is Sloth, who's on very old hard tyres as well. Top guys played a blinder, says Serious Mushroom. No, they started on medium, says Serious Mushroom. How dare you doubt me, Mushroom? I know exactly what's going on 100% of the time. which is also a load of hullabaloo. Or boulder dash, is probably what I should probably say instead. So we're just watching pot stuff. Currently then he has done 2 laps on these hard tyres, and I'll be interested to know what happened in the pit stop. I'll be more interested to know how Marky's got back past pot stuff. But there's a lot of things that I'm not going to find out today, and that will be one of them. I think it might be later on then. So KK coming into the back of KD then in 6th and 7th position there. Jinner currently leads the race with Sweet and Riley 2nd and 3rd. Duke is now 6 seconds back then, but he's extending his lead by just a 10th per second. You can see the raindrops there on the monocoque of Kiki here. Now, whoa, is KD, I thought, luckily, wow, Halson, look at how greasy it is there. Is that the hard tires just trying to bite into the circuit, or is this the circuit getting a bit greasy at this stage for car 13? Kiki just comes underneath us now as well. Lovely stuff. We're just going to watch back at the front then. Sweet. I reckon the Sweet might have actually put a bit more wing on the front of on the rear of that car. And that's why he might have been struggling at the opening stage of this race. And as Kiki almost caught KD at the wrong part of the circuit there. Of course, there's a bit of a kink going up the Camel Straight there, isn't there? And if you catch your competitor at that part of the circuit, it can get very hairy indeed there. Potstuff then up in the 10th position now with Sloth dropping down into 11th. So we got one more lap then. Inter, says Serious Mushroom. So Serious Mushroom thinks that the rain is going to absolutely deluge down now. And of course, and Sweet was talking about, yes, and you can see, because it's getting very damp there out of the corner with no name, especially off the racing line there. So that is going to get very interesting indeed there. KD has got a 3-second penalty for his efforts, unfortunately. But as Sweet has taken the lead, Jinner's dropped down into 2nd position there. Sweet has taken the lead at the very unusual part of the circuit, and it's still very sunny at that stage there. But Jinner is just so quick there, isn't he? Then look at the straight line speed. He's going to go on the outside here into Blanchemont there. Not quite, and ducks back into the slip sheet. That goes from the side by side. Then it's now side by side with Sweet. Then going into the bus stop. Sweet has the high line, and he currently has the lead of the Grand Prix still. Out to the final turn, and there there are the top three. 1, 2, 3 in facility. There's Duke then on fresh hard times. There is Mayran, who has now lost another couple of tenths of a second there. As this statement of intent for Duke, who's currently threatening the World Drivers' Championship there. I have a feeling that this lead might be short-lived from Sweet there, but Sweet there, who at the moment, and in terms of the whole field, that is on the best run of form in the last two races there, the second and the first. The rest of the field there have been so inconsistent there as Jinner takes the lead once again, then coming up the Camel Straight, and Street there is going to have to try and get back past sector 2, which we missed last time out because I was nattering on then like a crazy so-and-so. Markey is going to try and get past KD. KD's got a lot of speed there, but Markey does breeze on the outside there, and Jay Hings going off the circuit there. I think that just shows how slippery it is at the top of that hill now. We got off. We got three abreast, didn't we? Is that now powering through? Mr. Agent Ball almost making contact with Gordo. Farf is just keeping a watching brief down in 16th position there, but Farf is trying to go back up the inside. Albeit Farf, who's having a very dismal season there, but even so, he is still a racer, isn't he? And he's not going to yield to anyone, is he? Farf isn't. As Gordo though is kind of the mobile chicane at the moment, is Gordo, but Gordo has done 12 laps on those hard tyres. My goodness me, going out Puyong as well and getting very, it's getting very precarious out there. The rain note has not got any heavier at the moment, has it? That is crucial. Duke is very close then to Riley, very close indeed, and Riley there scoots out the way there. I don't think Riley is too concerned about Duke. That's not his race there. Riley is into the pits comes Jinner. So Jinner is into the pits now. And where is Jinner? So Jinner comes into the pits there. So Jinner doesn't think this rain is going to get any heavier. As you can see, we've still got beautiful sunshine out there. Jinner at the moment doesn't believe it's going to get wetter. So he's going to go onto the medium tyres. And surely I'll be shocked and maybe a bit horrified if I see intermediate tyres here. Yes, Jinner is on the medium tyres now. But I haven't said that. Is that wrong call for Jinner? Because that shot there looks to me that the track is getting wetter. Duke is through, takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix, powers past Sweet there, and there's a teleportation. What happened there? Riley, I'm not sure if Riley and Mayran made contact there, but as intermediate time, and Mayran's left the session now. Oh no, the championship leader, technical dramas again there for the McLaren team. Oh my word. And of course that has been the story of the season, the last couple of races or so for Mayran, and he's going to be absolutely furious with that then. Lovely helicopter shot, by the way, as we've got to quickly change the mood. Intermediate tyres for KD. I'm wondering if that might be a good strategy call here, which is on board with Sloth, and you can see the understeer on that Red Bull now. And I'm not sure if that's tyre life or if that is just as Mayran dropping down the order, and that is disappointing. Kiki is in a de facto second position here. If the rain does not come heavier, then Kiki will be in a de facto second position. However, though, Riley and Sweet there are hoping that the rain does get heavier so that they can go on to the intermediate tyres. Wrong call, that, says Serious Mushroom. Is that for Jinner or is that for KD? Gordo in the pits as well. There's Sweet then, and Mayran, of course, the championship leader. This is now Mayran has a 17-point lead in the World Championship. His generator has run out of petrol there. Serious pleasure. So, just coming into the bus stop chicane now. Yes, they're all in the pits. Yes, they are. Here they come then. Lovely shot of that Ferrari. Kiki has stayed out. So the Red Bull driver has stayed out here. So this is crucial. And so has Markey has stayed out as well. Yes, it is. So Kiki leads the Belgian Grand Prix. There's still a bit of sunshine around the parts of the circuit. Markey in second position. This could be crucial. Look at how slippery it's got there in the last source there for Markey, but he's just trying to get the power down. Paul Stuff in fourth position. Jay Hings, Sloth. Duke is coming up now, but there they come. Look, here's the intermediate runners now. Duke has sacrificed the lead here, and we got the and I thought I was Jinner all over the back of Sloth, and Jinner's got fresh dry tyres here. Pot Stuff has got past the technical problems of the McLaren driver, the championship leader, and here comes Jinner then. That is the fresh medium tyres, but is Jenner coming into the pits at the wrong time now? Jenner now in 6th position, Sloth in 7th, Duke in 8th position there. He is the highest of the medium runners there. Sweet's gone medium, so Sweet is on the medium tyres. Is that a strategical error for the Haas car, or is that and he's defended contact there, and Sweet and Riley have come to blows, and Sweet is off the circuit. I don't know if the Ferrari's got any damage at all, but that is certainly not what was on the bingo card there. Ooh, last thought, says Serious Motion. I reckon the Haas team made a mistake here, you know, because I feel that surely you would want to have gone onto the intermediate tyres. Unless this rain gets lighter, but it just feels like it's getting heavier at this stage of the race. So maybe Sweet's going to have an urgent meeting with his weather forecaster potentially, because that could be the wrong call for Sweet there. And that could put, of course, Sweet is coming to the season quite late on, but I still think he has a chance of the World Championship, especially with the technical issues that the championship leader is experiencing once again, of Mayran dropping down into 10th position at the moment. He was on the fresh hard tyres out, just watching Duke, who's all over the gearbox now of Slop. And is this the first signs that intermediate tyres is the way to go? The championship leader Mayran's back in the session on the outside, contact between the two cars. Slop is in the pits, Duke has stayed out, so is Jenner as well. And then we got Riley, who's getting past as well. And yes, back into the pits. I think it's the hat. No, listen, Sweet stays out. So Sweet has stayed out, and then Riley is now for new second position. And DRS is disabled. Then surely that's time for the intermediate tyres here in this Grand Prix. I'm surprised I didn't hear. Blimey, no one listens to me, says Serious Motion. And here comes the Ferrari now. Riley's on the ascendancy. He's all over the gearbox. And Duke, they're going at the top of the hill. Get rid of that tower, Meek. Here they come then, and so there's no DRS. So Riley's got to do it the old-fashioned way. He caught him at the wrong part of the lap, I feel. He had too much momentum at the top of the hill, did Riley, and had to back off there and almost went off the circuit. I think he did go off the circuit at the top of Riley on there. And unfortunately, I think that cost Riley. But Riley is driving superbly well in the Ferrari. Riley is had a very difficult season so far, but remember, the highlight is the Japanese Grand Prix pole position then. And now Riley is once again standing up in the seat of this Ferrari. He is driving superbly well out there at the moment. Fantastic. Mayran is synchronized his own car, says Serious Mushroom. So Jenner leads, but at the moment Jenner is quicker than these gaggle of cars here. So the top four are on the dry tyres. That is Kiki leads the way with Markey, Potster and Jenner, who's on fresh medium tyres. Then we've got intermediate tyres for Duke and Riley. Sweet is also is now on the medium tyres as well. And I was questioning whether that was a mistake or not by the Haas team. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Kaidal, who's on the hard tyres, on with Mr. Rage and R2B on the 10th position. KD in 11th position on the intermediate tyres. 3-second penalty with, but still looking very strong then. If that rain gets heavier, of course, then if spirals backwards is F1, as Murray Walker used to say. Jay Hings in 12th position. 13th is Sloth on the medium tyres. 14th is Tory on the hard tyres. And then we've got a gaggle of 6 cars, and with Farf, Gordo, Luke, Mayran, Erevine, and Nigel all on the intermediate tyres. Like the F2 race, says Serious Motion. Luke has got past Gordo, back up into, and look, Duke is actually shrunk that 2-second gap down almost in the sector. That to me is the track conditions are changed. There's still no spray out there, and Jitter is going to let his teammate through here. And is he going to be the rear gunner now for his teammate? He's going to try, and Irvine is going to, Riley is going to be absolutely fuming, but he's going to try and get the face of him, and Riley down the inside, and contact between the two cars, but Riley is through and up into 5th position. He needed to make that because Riley could potentially win the Belgian Grand Prix here. Incredible stuff. Absolutely magnificent. Look, it's quite heavy down into Pouillon there, out to the corner of No Name. You can see the raindrops here sploshing off the top of the circuit. Now it's time for the intermediate tyres. Surely here. I say. Incredible there. We still got bits of sunshine out there as well, but I think everyone on the dry tyres will have to come in, get some groove tyres now, and it has to be the intermediate tyres. I would have to guess that. Now Duke is stuck behind Potster, and Riley is going to be up to Duke in a jiffy. Look, as they come out of Farf's got a 3-second penalty, whilst his teammate is Farf's teammate is whilst his teammate of Potster and on the outside of Blog. Someone here, he's through. Duke's through. Can Riley get through? Duke's off the circuit, and Raikkonen crashed there in 2008. Here comes Riley up the inside, and he takes fourth position there. Oh my word! And now then, he's gonna. Who has the better battery deployment on lap? What's there? Contact there? No, Potster is in the pits there. Lap 18 in this race, and 5 laps to go of this incredible Belgian Grand Prix. Fantastic. Now, who's got the better deployment then? As he come out of last source, and Kiki's got a 4.5 second advantage at this moment. Potster is now in the pits. Here comes Riley, and once again, Riley's got so much speed, but I think he's caught it at the wrong part of the circuit again, and then that's going to allow Duke to launch off the top of Radion, and that gives him just about the crucial part of breathing space there. At the top of the hill into Les Combes, then reminds us of the 1995 Belgian Grand Prix. Remember that it was Damon Hill who was on the wet tyres. I think it was the intermediate tyres in today's age, while Schumacher stayed on the slick tyres there, and of course in a brilliant win, his 16th win of his career there, of course from 16th on the grid as well. But today, it's going on the outside there. Markey is not allowing him through there. Of course, Markey is more concerned about his own championship challenges there. Riley wants to get his career best result here tonight. He's back up in the 3rd position there, and he's now chasing down Duke. I think Riley is a bit quicker than the Duke here. Incredible stuff indeed there. What has been a superb Grand Prix. Kiki leads 3 seconds, now under 3 seconds now. Now they're starting to catch up to the back of the Racing Bull driver. Then we have got Duke. Then we got Riley Markey in a 4th position. Those hard tyres. I'm wondering if it's now too late. You have to probably stay on the slick tyres, don't you? Surely, I say. Wow, incredible. But Kiki has lost over half a second on one sector alone there, as Kydal has lost out to Jay Hings. Jay Hings driving the best race of his season so far, and the intermediate tyres is proving fruitful for the Mercedes driver. Next car is KD with 4-lap old intermediate tyres. That could be crucial in the later stage of this Grand Prix. 3 seconds on the road is sweet, and then is Jinner just a further 10th of a second up the road as well, as they have stayed up back at the front, and now then this could be crucial. And look at this, and Duke is going to take the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix here. They're going to go side by side here, and he has gone. No, he hasn't. Now is Kiki keeps the lead here. We're on board once again there with the Red Bull driver, and all over the back now as the Williams said, is Kiki going to get defensive? He's going to try, but I think that he's on the wrong tyres there. The golden rules be on the right tyre at the right time there, and he just about gets the car slowed down, and Duke takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. Riley there, more contact there, but Riley forces his way past Kiki, as Riley knows that he's desperate there to keep up with Duke then. Riley's got more battery as well, says Serious Motion there. So Riley is desperate to deploy that. He the 2 times he's had a go at Duke, and both times though, unfortunately, he's kind of caught him at the wrong part of the circuit, hasn't he? Incredible stuff indeed then, and just going to take a look then as Jinner is really struggling, and look at this, and now we have got Jay Hings, KD, Sweet and Jinner here, and I'm willing Jay Hings with all the might I can muster up there. Same with Farf as well. 2 drivers have been at difficult times this season. On the outside goes G. Oh no, and contact there, as luckily I think they've both got away, but it's Jay Hings on the outside. Not sure if KD's seen him or not there, as it's a very unusual place there, to overtake in such a chicane there. Just back on board with Sweet now then, and Sweet they're trying to get past Jinner. He needs to get past Jinner pronto here, because he's going to be under the cosh here once again. Then here comes Sweet, then Jinner, then who's goodness me, then you can see the amount of damage that's being done to the under trays of these cars there, into the bus up again. KD trying to slow the car down. Sweet up the inside. Mr. Agent Ball has and KD has gone through him. Goodness gracious me, is that even legal? Jay Hings trying to go up the inside. KD has elevated himself up to 5th position. Jenner in 6th. And what about Jay Hinks? And is Jay Hinks going to go on the outside? He is. He's up to 7th there. Jenner's still on the inside. Jay Hinks gives him just about a car swip there. And that's all he needs. And through he goes in number 2-6 position. There's Jay Hinks there. As now Jenner is defending from Pot Stuff, who came into the pits. Has got one of the freshest intermediate tyres at this stage of the Grand Prix. Riley is once again within half a second of the Grand Prix leaders who come up to Lake Com once again. What a grandstand race has been there. Lap 20 out of 22 of the Belgian Grand Prix. And now we have got Pot Stuff, who's all over the dry shot. Jenner then is unfortunately for Jenner, the rain came probably a lap or two too late. Same for Sweet as well. Jenner again very defensive here as Pot Stuff is just pushing the Williams. He's pushing. And there's no way through there. Maybe coming out of the corner at No Name. Oh, Sweet there just about keeping the car on the island. Now we might have we've got a short run down to Pouillon there. Let's look at the raindrops and they're just getting heavier and heavier, but it is so close to as the for the dry tires to just hang on there on the inside. Well, that's kind of that just shows intermediate tires are the quickest way to go. But look, there's still a bit of sunshine at this part of the circuit. That's incredible. It just shows how big this circle is. There may be trouble ahead, says R2 Beat has a 3-second penalty. Down in 16th position is the Aston Martin driver. Some drivers have been caught out by this rain, and it's not heavy rain, is it? As such, then it's Jay Hinks is through. KD has got off the road. Jay Hinks is up into 5th position. Marky's got a 3-second penalty, which could put the end of his podium aspiration. Now, what is Jay Hinks got them? The gap is 5.5 seconds with just 2 laps to go. Maybe in standard racing form, that might be a bit too far. There is his target. There's Marky. And then just in front of Marky by 3 seconds is Kiki. So the gap is about 6 seconds there. Can Jay Hinks get on the podium? But he does have a 3-second penalty as well. KD then will not have DRS, and Sweet is still fighting with... whoa, look at how greasy it is coming out of Blast Source. As Sweet there is all over the gearbox of Jenner, and they're going to go side by side once again. And this time Sweet there decides against that then as we go up the hill. Jenner's got a penalty, unfortunately. That could put the end to his points aspirations here tonight. Then coming up the top into Lake Com, then Duke leads by 1.5 seconds. Riley has dropped back then, unfortunately, of what has been one of his best races of his career. And absolutely superb driving indeed. Luke all over the gearbox of Farfan in the battle for 11th and 12th position. Both drivers still got a chance of points as well, especially with the penalty situation there. I think it's stopping raining. It has. I think it's stopped raining here. Goodness gracious me. Maybe but it's so difficult. As the cars trying to keep themselves on the island, but it has stopped raining. DRS has been enabled with just 1 lap to go here. Oh, magnificent stuff indeed. What a race this has been. Sweet's got a 3-second penalty. Sadly, we caught him red-handed there. So the rain has stopped then. So now the dry tyres, maybe the faster race tyre, and Jenner and Sweet could be on the ascendance here. Let's go on board with Jenner now. As you can see, he's still struggling because it's still greasy out there. But I'm wondering if the dry tyres are now the quicker tyre in this one there. Because look, there's the surface looks quite dry there through Paul Frere and Stamina. But Jenner is hacksawing away at that wheel. As Gordo's off the circuit, Gordo's dropping down the order and down into 16 pairs. R2 Beat is through, Kydal is through as well. My goodness gracious me. And now then we've got Mr. Raging Bull, Sweet and Jenner then, as Potstuff has got a 3-second penalty. Jay Hinks' aspiration of a podium there might be ended here sadly because the rain has stopped on the final lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. The gap is 11 seconds there between Kiki and what's happened? Oh gosh, Gordo's off the circuit, Blanchimont there. And I'm wondering then if that's a puncture, and that is surely concerns me because Gordo's done the same amount as laps as Duke and Riley here. Good gracious me! It's going to be about trying to. I've dribbled. It's gonna be about who gets home there. As Inter still fast, it's that serious match there, but I think we're more concerned now potentially about if those tyres are going to get to the end here. This could be a grandstand finish. It's a puncture for Gordo, as he said that. And now we've got contact there at the top of the hill at Lake Com. Jenner's off the circuit. Mr. Raging Bull is also off as well. Whilst we've been keeping a look at the leaders, I don't know where to look. We need multicam out here, don't we? My word. Yellow flags then sadly at the top of the hill is still. And who's that for? Not sure who it's for. I think it's still for the Mercedes. It's Luke. Luke is crawling as well. I think Luke's got a puncture after 7 laps. Thank goodness me. I think 7's the threshold. Watching them now, Duke. Then can he get to the end of this race? Oh, I swallowed me tongue. Here comes Duke now coming through Blanchimont for the 22nd and final time. And he looks like he could almost get out of the car and push it and then into the bus stop then. Duke is, this is probably one of his best race wins of his career, potentially one of the most challenging races. Duke wins the Belgian Grand Prix, but it's going to be Riley potentially, well, my driver of the day, no doubt about that. Lewis Riley is first podium of his career. That's his best race result of his career as well. Previously, it was 5th position up until today. Magnificent stuff indeed there. Kiki in 3rd position, Markey in 4th, Jay Hings 5th with Potstuff 6th, KD in a strong 7th in the end there with Sweet in 8th position. 9th is Far. Far is going to be happy to get points there. Jay Hings is off the mark as well with some great racing there for Jay Hings there. Riley and Jay Hings are my 2 drivers of the day. Oh, magnificent stuff indeed there. Absolutely incredible. As we've got a lot of drivers struggling to come back then, as we got Tori struggling out there. Nigel 11 to 18th, hats off to Nigel for sticking with it. Luke trying to crawl back, but a puncture on the final lap there, and that has allowed Gordo through and back up in the 16th there for Gordo. I'm not sure if he'll be able to get past us up there. Incredible stuff indeed, and everyone has finished this race. Mayran unfortunately got back in the race there, but unfortunately just couldn't... the technical gremlins for Mayran has potentially cost him the championship lead. So Duke now leads the Drivers' Championship. Riley driver of the day, Defo, quite good race that was. And Mayran, congratulations podium, congrats Duke then. Congrats podium as well from, oh goodness me, yes, they have stolen the show then as the... They have stolen the show then. There's some authorities outside the window. But Duke has won the Belgian Grand Prix in superb stuff indeed. In superb style. Absolutely magnificent stuff indeed. Then let's take a final look at the classification then from an incredible Belgian Grand Prix. Duke is your race winner. Fast lap is Markey. Jay Hings, driver of the day, overtakes as Jay Hings, whilst Kiki is the cleanest driver. Goodness me. Final classification, Duke is 4th win of his career. Then Riley is best race result of his career as well, with 2nd position from 10th to 2nd. What a drive. 3rd is Kiki. 4th is Markey then. And also getting that fast lap, which could be crucial later on in the race. But once again, McLaren, technical gremlins for the former championship leader, Mayran. And then Markey only finishing 4th today. Jay Hings, what a drive, and absolutely superb stuff indeed from 17th to 5th there. Maybe Jay Hings should get driver of the day. Pot 7 6, KD in 7th, Sweet 8, Far Force getting points as well in 9th position with Jinner in 10th, Mr. Raging Ball length with Kaidar 12th, Irvine 13th, RT Beat 14th, Sloth in 15th with Gordo 16th, Luke 17th, Nigel in 18th, Mayran in 19th, and 20th position is Tori. All 20 cars finished what has been an absolutely sensational Belgium Grand Prix. Magnificent stuff indeed. That one really was. As we got Kiki in the comms box now then, as Kiki, what a drive today.
It wasn't too bad, just obviously the rain came and obviously I didn't pit because I thought it was going to stop pretty quick because that's what it said on the weather. It was only going to rain for a bit and go back to dry again, but it didn't. So it was, yeah, one of them.
It really was. It was so close to potentially you getting the Grand Prix win instead of Duke today. Then it was all about the weather. Then can you second guess the weather in this game then? Because it's probably one of the most difficult things you can do, surely.
Well, when I raced in gold yesterday, it said it was going to rain. I don't think it rained at all in gold. But then obviously today, it said it was going to rain for a bit and go back to dry again. So obviously I stayed out. I was hoping it was going to dry for about maybe like 5 or 10 laps left, but it just kept on raining. And yeah, obviously Duke and Lewis were on the inters and left us.
But do you feel that is do you think that is points lost, or do you think that's points gained? And potentially looking at some of your rivals today, then the likes of Mayran having issues, Markey finishing behind you. Yeah, Duke did finish in front of you, but that's the only one of your championship rivals finished in front of you. So do you feel that's still a good day's result?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Obviously, I got closer to them. Obviously, Duke moved away from me, but I got closer to Marky. So, but I'm going to miss a couple of races soon due to work, so they'll probably pull back away from me.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking. But overall, then this race was, as we mentioned, very difficult. If it was going to be a completely dry race, then would you have potentially gone for a two-stopper today, or do you think that the one stop was just a slam dunk?
No, I would have been a one stop, obviously, medium or hards or hards to mediums, but obviously, I think if Miranov was in here as well, I think he probably would have got third or second or first, whatever. So obviously, I shouldn't even be on the podium. He should be, but obviously his internet again let him down, which is obviously unlucky for him.
It certainly is, but it's not been unlucky for you. And with you missing a couple of races, though, how difficult is that to keep your mindset for the championship? Or do you think the championship is gone because you're missing these races?
Um, the championship's already gone anyway. I don't think I'll be able to catch him. Obviously, there's the quick guys, and obviously sometimes you win or sometimes you lose. But like I say, with work, obviously hopefully I'll start early, then I can be back for the races. But who knows? I might just pay some like 50 quid to take them all out and even it. You know what I mean? Do you know?
Goodness me! And well, you say that, but it's been a bit of a yo-yo season because the top three have really struggled in the last couple of races to maximise on the points tally, with both McLarens and even Duke as well struggling to get the maximum points out of the last 4 or 5 races. So anything can still happen this season. We're only halfway through. So could you take a bit of confidence from the form but for the last couple of races, or do you think that's just an anomaly?
Yeah, because I think every race I've in silver, I think I've scored points in every race I've raced. I think I'm not too sure, but obviously it's just consistency. Hopefully, if I can get about fourth or fifth every race, I'll be all right. Like I say, Marky, Duke, and Menor are fast. They need to go to gold now, then obviously be easier for silver. But it's one of them things.
Certainly is, but a really good day today with brilliant third position, fantastic stuff indeed. And Duke, I said in comms that that was your best race win of your career, but I might be speaking out of turn just of how incredible that race was. It was so difficult. We heard Kiki say it was only going to rain for a bit of time. We seen that you came in the pits quite early on as well. Did you have the same weather forecast where you wasn't expecting it to rain for so long?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the race, when I checked the weather forecast, it felt like it was only going to rain for maybe 2, 3, or 4 laps thereabout. So I just had I decided to start on the mediums and then go to the hards, and then see how it goes from there. But when I think Sweet started on the hards in the top five. When I saw him starting on the hards, I felt it was going to be a problem for us. And then going into going into turn one, I just felt okay. If I could get the lead and then maybe try to build a gap to the hard runners, then it should probably help. So right from the race start, I kept on asking my engineer how many for weather report, and then I got to find out I was around maybe 10 to 15 minutes. So I felt I could take the mediums to when it starts to rain. But then again, by I think lap 7 or 8 thereabout, I already had around 70% tire wear on the front left. And if I went any further, I was going to get a poncho. So I felt okay, let me pit down and then see how it goes. So I was kind of lucky because I still think those who started on the hards, if they pitted on the same lap, 1 lap earlier to the inters, they could have actually been ahead of me. So I kind of got a bit of luck. But I would still say that's my best race win. That's my best drive ever.
Aha, I called that fantastic. And of course, during that race as well, you and the championship leader, Mayram, went head to head. And in the end, you did pull out a bit of time as well. And then even during even after the pit stops, then when you and Mayram was going head to head and come through the traffic, you did extend that lead as well. So with Mayram having issues, unfortunately, and issues again today, do you still take solace in the fact is that you could have won this race without his technical dramas today?
Yeah, I still think I could have won today without the technical drama. But at the very least, he was going to finish P2. At the very least, I think he was going to finish P2 today.
I know, of course, at the end as well, Riley was all over your gearbox, and it could have been a grandstand finish. Right, you did gap Riley at the end there, but goodness gracious me, Riley not involved in the championship fight as such. Whilst, of course, you'll be looking over your shoulder at the likes of Kiki and the likes of Marky and the likes of Mayran as well. So, was you a bit concerned that Riley was going to launch up the inside because he was going for his first Grand Prix win and not challenge for the championship?
No, actually, I think we chat from time to time, me and Riley actually. So I felt whatever he was going to do, he was actually going to be fair. So I wasn't really bothered about him. I knew he was going to be fair about it.
And of course, then I think on lap 7, the final lap, a lot of drivers with intermediate tires had punctures towards the end. And was you aware about what was going on the final lap there with punctures for the intermediate tires, or was you quite cool as a cucumber in that car?
I actually did not check my tire wear, but I perfectly remember I didn't get any tire wear icon on my MFD, so I think my tire wear was actually fine.
And now you become the leader in the world championship. Then you've gone from the hunter to the hunted. Then are you going to thrive on that? Then as we go into the next race, which is I've forgotten.
I think it's Hungary.
Thank you. We're hungry. At least you know what's going on. As you go into Hungary then next week, then are you going to thrive on that pressure? As now you've got a target on the back.
I think the way I see it, chasing is actually, it seems to be much more easier because I had something to push for. But going into the next race, which is Hungary, pace there onto. But on this game, I've not really had the insane pace I had at Hungary on this game, so I'll just have to practice for the next couple of days and see where that ends up. And I think I've not started on pole this season, so if I get to start on pole, it's going to be a big one.
Absolutely is. I cannot wait. It certainly is going to be a big one next week. That Duke has taken the lead in the Drivers' Championship in silver. That's fantastic stuff. And then we move on to bronze tomorrow night. Smithy Almighty has got a 6-point lead in the championship over Reflections in second position. With Dynamo Dan is just over a win away in third position. There, 32 points drift to Smithy Almighty. And of course, Hungry Stars are also in the facility as well. It's going to be a cracker in Spa tomorrow night, especially if it's anything like tonight. Then cannot wait. Then Knowles will be taking you for the action tomorrow night. I'm going to bed. Good night.